Hey Lando, good to see you. I know Bahrain hasn't always been that kind to McLaren, but you looked right in testing and you've had a pretty good start to the season. Do you reckon you can kind of fend off the Red Bulls here, based on what you see?
Unlikely, just from my feelings at the minute. I mean, we've had a great start to the season, and I know a lot of things are amazing. Which is a much slower speed circuit. You know, it's a much slower speed circuit than the last few weekends. We still know that's one of our weaker areas, so I'm not expecting bad things. I'm just expecting a trickier weekend than the last few.
Now, the team said on Sunday night that they were going to look at all the data to see what could have been done differently to steal the win in Japan. What conclusions have been reached?
Qualifying ahead of Max was probably the key to that. Yeah, I mean, we looked through it. I mean, I think it was pretty clear to see that you needed a very big pace advantage to overtake on Sunday, and I think, you know, the best way to overcome that is, like I said, qualifying a bit better. But I think even in the race, we were pretty limited.
Yeah, I mean, we've done, of course, pre-season testing here. This track is very different to Suzuka anyway, from what you need from the car. A lot more low speed to medium speed, a lot of degradation naturally with the tarmac. So, yeah, tires overheating, which I think so far this year has not been our strongest point, to be honest.
Very excited. I think, like on Thursday now, same time as last week, I'm much calmer now. Just naturally because of less, I guess, activities and able to have a bit more time to think about the preparation and everything. So, and also now I know how the car behaves at least a little bit more than how I started last week. So yeah, everything positive. Yeah, a couple of modifications also I've done to adjust a little bit more in terms of like seat and everything. So yeah, I think we'll be good.
I think it's going to be really interesting because the first three races, they've all had a few similarities. You know, it's all been quite fast, higher speed tracks, smooth tarmac with little tyre degradation. And I think here we definitely won't be seeing a one-stop. If someone does a one-stop, that'd be pretty impressive in this condition. And I think that's where we're going to probably see McLaren come into their own. So that's going to be a bit of sort of validation for us if we are closer than we expect.
The thing I was the happiest is the consistency I had throughout the three races, and you know, keep trying to improve weekend by weekend. Of course, every weekend is a massive learning for me. You know, especially learning about the tire, I think was really helpful, and I think it's going to be really helpful to have the same compound this weekend as well, compared to Suzuka. Just because I'm understanding more and more the tire. And I think in the first, especially couple of races, I really struggled with warm-up when it was coming to qualifying. And I think Suzuka was a big step forward on that side.
Charles, great to see you. Obviously, last time we were here in Bahrain, the pace of the car looked good from what we could read and test, and a lot has happened since then. You did a load of tests in Japan where it felt like you'd found a new direction. How optimistic are you about them this weekend?
I'm optimistic. I can be using the maximum potential of the car if the direction remains positive on a track like this. I'm a bit less optimistic on the overall performance. I think it's very difficult to base ourselves on testing here because everybody were hiding their games. So it's difficult to it was difficult to understand exactly where we're standing compared to the others.
We've got an upgrade this weekend, so I'm excited. We're going to hopefully have a bit more downforce. I'm not really feeling a huge amount of issues, just we lack overall performance at the moment, pace-wise, which we hopefully will take a step this weekend. On my side, it's rear end is a little bit, and that's about it.
And was it a bit of a relief to get those points on the board in Japan? Because you'd showed so many signs of having that pace.
Yeah, it was good to finally get those. You know, in China, I thought it was my moment, and then we obviously had this wheel strategy. And now it feels good to finally be rewarded. So yeah,
it's just nice to be racing again. Obviously, it's been a chaotic couple of weeks and months, and to just be able to go racing and focus on all of that is really the best thing, I think, for me. It was a good start. It was nice to be back with the team last weekend, and nice to feel like I think we just slid right in. And although the race result wasn't amazing, I think the weekend honestly was looking quite okay. So yeah, lots of positives to take from it, and yeah, just happy to be racing again.
I don't think we're going to be slow here, and I think that well, we were strong. Carlos was especially strong in the test here earlier this year, and now we've gone to 4 different tracks, very different tracks. The car's been top 10 material each time, so I'm going into this weekend. Maybe I think it's going to be tighter, just because everyone is going to be fairly optimized for this weekend, but coming in with the goal of scoring points.
Here in testing, I felt very comfortable with the car. Actually, it's a balance and a car that I've been looking forward to target in the recent races. Given I was not as happy in China, I looked back at the test to the setup that we were running here, and I was keen, together with the team, to try and put the car somewhere closer to the way it felt in Bahrain test, because there I felt like I was up to speed and driving fairly natural, and I didn't have to think so much while driving. While in China, I remember, and even in Suzuka, I've been having to really break my head to understand how to drive the car and to extract all the performance from it. So, but yeah, you first need to go through these weekends where you have a bit more of a challenging time to understand that and reverse engineer that. So that takes time. You know, it's 24 races. We've only done 3, and obviously everyone expected me and expect me to be straight up in the pace, which is a good thing. It means people value me and expect high things of me. But I was the first one that after Bahrain test, when I was P1, I was like, I'm nowhere near where I need to be still with this car to perform at the level that I want to perform.
You know, it's a very difficult circuit for many reasons. You know, it's a very rough track, the roughest of the whole calendar. There are a lot of traction zones. You know, it's going to be interesting to see if what we've done in testing is going to actually work, you know, when everyone goes flat out. So on Friday, we'll have a bigger picture. But, you know, it doesn't tell the whole story, I think, still, because it's so far out compared to every other tracks that, you know, what we've done earlier in the year is more common than this one.
And you had some really good pace here in the pre-season test, but we had very different conditions to the heat that we're having now. So what are your expectations coming here to Bahrain?
I still expect an extremely tight battle, you know, in the midfield. At the minute, it looks like everybody's got a shot at potentially, you know, getting close to that top 10. So you don't really have any teams who are underperforming. I think it's going to be very much a game of trying to be really nailing everything from a setup point of view, from a tire, driving-wise, strategy, to get on top of that battle in the midfield. So it's exciting.
Last week you missed FP1 for a rookie session, even though you're a rookie yourself. For a driver that's now no longer part of the same program, were you surprised, and how was it communicated to you that you weren't going to take part in that session, even if you needed the track time?
Yeah, no, I was sort of something that was to my knowledge very early on in the year, you know, way before testing, before the start of the year. So, you know, there were reasons around the positioning of that FP1, and you know, very early on, I know these things were not in my control. So you just suck it up and push on and take it as it comes.
Yeah, some good results to start the season for sure. I think it depends the weekends. Some weekends you get into a good groove with the balance and what the car is doing, from the first lap of the weekend. Other weekends, conditions, this and that. It sometimes is a different story, but it was good to pick up some good results. Those first few races, Japan a little bit more difficult. But we'll see what we can do this weekend.
Yeah, I think we are identifying some of the weaknesses of the car race after race, and we try to tackle those. The team is working really flat out to bring some upgrades to the car. Every race we try to get better. Here in Bahrain we have another good opportunity after winter testing to test a few things that we learned after the first 3 Grand Prix, and yeah, I remain confident and optimistic for the season.
Well, we want to maximize the weekend, make use of any opportunity that might come. Obviously, a few weeks ago when we were testing here, things weren't looking that good. We looked, to be quite a bit on the back foot, but in the first couple of races we've been in Q2, I think at least 2 times with the different cars, but also been definitely not behind the mid pack. So it's very tight, it's very competitive, as we know.
Yeah, it's very good to be back in Bahrain, a track that I think everyone knows very well in this paddock. Lots of pre-season testing and junior series running here. So yeah, excited to be back in a track that I know and start the new weekend.
Yeah, great to see. Obviously, it's been quite a busy couple of weeks for you, swapping from Alpine over to Haas. How are you feeling about that transition and the opportunity ahead?
Yeah, I'm really happy for this opportunity. Yeah, it's just nice to drive F1 two weeks in a row, and I'm really excited to start my new journey with the Haas. At the same time, I really appreciate to the Alpine to giving me this opportunity. So yeah, I just focus my job now.
You've got 4 opportunities this year, Bahrain being the first one to drive the car in FP1. How important is that for you in your career development to hopefully, I guess, getting a seat on the grid?
I think I did a good job in Suzuka, so I'm having this good momentum here. So yeah, my job is to bring as much as I can from my feedback, everything. So yeah, I just try to focus to contribute to the team.